Well, welcome back everybody. It's a beautiful day on the farm. We got 1.75 inches of rain yesterday. You can see way down back there's water still sitting on the ground. I was going to transplant today, but it's 48 degrees, windy and wet, and we're supposed to get more rain tomorrow. Maybe showers today, who knows. But we are getting ready to reassemble this. I'm going to go get me a wire wheel and buzz around in here and get rid of some carbon. But these Briggs & Strattons, they have an inherent fault. They've got from here to here with no support. Nothing pulling this gasket down right here. Now they've got an intake runner in the way. Now, be honest about it, there's no reason why they couldn't enlarge this runner. And I'm talking, you know, right here through where this X is, if they enlarged it 1/2 inch, and then came up here at the other side, modified this piece of tin and had a bolt go right straight down through, right through the runner. There's no reason you can't go through an intake runner. It's not the perfect scenario, but, you know, they obviously, if you lost a couple tenths of a horsepower on this runner because you had a bolt through it, it's a lot better than blowing a head gasket every 50 to 250 hours. That seems to be about all these things are good for, which is ridiculous. So I'll tell you, I'm not going to do it on this one. I'm going to try it. We'll see how long it lasts. But I'll show you what my thought process is. If this blows again on me, I'm going to take a fly cutter and I'm going to come in right about on the inside of here, and I'm going to go down about 5 thousandths. And I'm going to come across here, right back up through here, and I'm going to go and lift it up 1 thousandths, come in about 1/2 inch on both sides, then lift it up another 1 thousandths. And I'm going to make this so it's got a dome right here of about 5 thousandths. And that'll compress that gasket more right here, which is what they need. Everywhere else, I'd probably leave it the same. I'd chew this right down. I don't think this would leak if you had... This right here is where you need that 5 thousandths. And I think it could be done with a milling machine real easy. It could be a modification. I don't know how else to fix this problem. If this continues to be a problem, it may not bother again. But this mower, when it had 50 hours on it, was puffing blue smoke out the carburetor. Not bad like it is now. But at 50 hours, it was bothering. And we've mowed with it. In the last, probably 5 hours, it really started to put out oil. So, you can't have gas leaking through a gasket for too awful long, and eventually it's going to fail. But yeah, so we'll keep cleaning. I'll bring you back in a little bit. Okay, I finally got this thing cleaned up. I'm not going to worry about that carbon there. I know a lot of people would clean it right out, but I cleaned this with a razor blade very carefully, and this is a piece of 400 grit. Probably should have used 220. It's real important. I know a lot of people, they say use Bare Tex and you want it polished and all this. You can hear that. You want to have some tooth to the metal to hold your gasket. You can have a surface too smooth and it will blow a gasket quicker. So just keep that in mind. Of course, if you go the opposite extreme, that's not good either. But we'll get the gasket out and we'll start putting this old girl together. Okay, we're back again. I got my line-up dowels in there. You don't need those, but I'm a firm believer in them. Head's been cleaned off, good enough. Should be fine. So the gasket will only go one way. You can't frig that up, okay? Because the way they made it, which is a good thing. And then Start the dowels on. And the beauty of those dowels is you see how that just, there's nothing to hold it there, you know? So put them dowels in. And when you go to line up your bolts and stuff, everything's where it belongs. You see a lot of these guys on the internet, they're trying to put these on and they're trying to hold the gasket in back. And they're frigging around and all of a sudden they turn the camera off. When they come back, everything's all put back together, which I probably will do that here in a second. But it's so much easier if you have them long dowels in. Now something else about that gasket, I should have showed it to you actually while I had the head off, but I'm not going to take it back off. When you get those, if they've got a bend in them, if they've been crinkled somewheres, don't buy it. Those things, once you bend them, they will fail probably in that area, the type of gasket material they are. I never really liked this graphite head gasket anyway, not in anything. It's very slippery, it's hard to hold in place. It almost wants to slide around and blow. See how easy that is? You don't have to frig around holding stuff. These long, I don't know what these were, probably must be a 5-inch bolt. But yeah, once you get it started, they're only in a few threads. Set them aside, wind the rest of the bolts to it. When I get ready to torque this, I will bring you back. I'm just going to put them in finger tight. So I went on my phone, and this is a Briggs & Stratton check chat, common specs for all popular engines. I found this, see if I can get back to it. Briggs & Stratton, Missouri Tech Ag, Briggs & Stratton Tech Chart. So that right there is where I went to get that chart, and it does list the 3100 series, which is what this is. And I wrote all the numbers down for you. So, because it's hard to scroll back and forth. This is just a little bit of tune-up stuff. The air gap on the flywheel, 10 to 14 thousandths. The intake, 3 to 5 thousandths. I'm going to set them at 3. I hate floppy stuff. Exhaust, 5 to 7. So we'll set it at 7. Flywheel torque, if you have to have it off, is 100 foot-pounds. The cylinder head is 220 inch-pounds. And the connecting rod, if you get in that far, you probably will have more information than what I'm going to give you. But it's 150 inch-pounds on the connecting rod. So anyway, this is 220, which is 18.3. So anyway, this is a 3100 series. You can see it's a 3-1 and then, you know, 4 numbers after. Well, it's actually a letter and 3 numbers, but it's a 3100. I would have turned it over for you, but I didn't want to drip oil. So anyway, I'm going to go get my torque stuff and I'll be back. Well, I'm back. What time is it? 2 o'clock, and I left at 11. Got back, ran the greenhouse for Carol for a little while, and yeah, then friends of mine started showing up. You know how that stuff is. But anyway, this bottom bolt right here and this top one in the center, those are your first 2. And then, you know, I like to go over here to the bottom, over here to the bottom, and do this center one last. And makes sense, the way I've always been taught to do it. I'm only going down to 100 inch-pounds right now, and then we will go to about 150. But I'm going to go here real close, just a little at a time, because where this has got problems with these gaskets, I want to creep up on it on these 2 bolts. These ones here are the most important. There we go. Okay, now, you know, that gasket's stabilized and the head is stabilized. So now we'll take the rest of them right down. If I can get onto these bottom ones. Over. Come on. Anyway, we're getting them done here. So let's go on up here. We got to go to 220. So we're going up about 100 and probably 50 or 60. That's 160. See if that moves it much. Yeah. And we'll go to 220. So that right there is 210, 220. There we go. So I didn't have a inch-pound torque wrench for the 3/8 drive stuff, you know, and the small stuff. So I went and bought one. Went over to Cornish Auto Supply. They fixed me up with one. I'm going to start right here and make sure I haven't missed a thing. That one's good. That one creeped a little bit. It's worth going over them the second time. So anyway, that head right there is torqued on now. Perfect. Always got to back the torque wrenches off if you want them to be accurate. So we'll set that down. Next thing to put in is the push rods. We'll explain that in the next video part here. Okay, we're back again. I'm gonna put just a skosh of oil on these, and we'll shove them into place. Steel one always goes on top. Feels right. I'm going to peek in there in a minute, take a look at it. That one. That one is right there. I think that one is too. I'm actually going to get a light. Take a peek. I'm not going to try to bring you along because it's a pain in the ass to look up through there. We'll just make sure they're headed where they're supposed to be. That one looks good. And that one there looks good. So they are where they belong. Now we will take just a dab of oil. This is just to help hold these on. You could put them on dry actually, but oil will make it stay a little better. Just a half a drop on each one. Yeah, beautiful. Now we will see if this dandy is, we might have the I would say get the engine turned wrong. But we'll figure that out in a minute. So get that one on right. Yeah, shoot, I should have got that out. There we go. And now what we will do, I'm going to turn this engine over a little, see if I can get it where it should be. Yeah, the intake was starting to open. So now we should be coming up on compression. So if we stick something in the cylinder, that right there is top dead center. I'm going to go a little bit by. Now, that one's real loose, which it should be. Oh yeah. So now, what we've got to do, we need a 5/8 wrench. Oop, wrong way. This is a Torx number 20, T20. And yeah, I'll be back in just a second. I'm going to get me a 5/8 wrench. Okay, so what we're going to do, 5 thousandths is the exhaust. You want a little bit of drag, not a lot. And I'll tell you, it's a sensitive adjustment. I think that's about where we want it, right there. Let's see what happens here when we tighten that T20 set screw up. I'm sure there's a torque for that, but I don't know what it is. Let's see how loose that is, because that's going to pull it, oh yeah, quite a lot. So we've got to over tighten it a little bit. See what that is. It's not too bad, it's a little snug. Let's see if that'll pull it any harder on the threads. Oh boy, it's just a little, it goes tight. It's a pain in the ass to get them where you really want them. Yeah. Boy, that feels. Oh, it's got to go up some. Oh, that's smooth. That's where we want it, right there. Yeah, it's tight. Yeah, that's probably 5.5 maybe. Man, that's perfect. So we'll put that one away so we don't get frigged up. Now we'll go to the 3. 3 thousandths ain't much. Boy, this one here came right into it pretty good. Let's see what that is with the 4 thousandths and see if it's worth chasing. Yeah, I'm about 1 thousandths over. I'll tell you, I ain't gonna, you know, 1,000 ain't much. I'm gonna call it, probably gonna call it about right there. Let's see if I can still get that 3 in there. I couldn't stand it, I had to try it. Yeah, now it's just a skosh tight. Man, oh man, that's amazing how loose that can feel and yet be so close. And that's just like glass right there. Yeah, it's tight. Gonna leave her. They feel sloppier than hell. But yet they're right. It's funny how that is. But, so that's all there is to it. Then, just for the fun of it, I'm gonna roll it over one time, and that'll confirm that everything's where it belongs. We should have the exhaust open right there. And then the intake, there should be a valve overlap right there, which there is. Yeah. Awesome. So, we're gonna call that a win. All we gotta do now is put the rocker cover back on. Intake and exhaust, we're about done. Well, we're getting right down at the end of it now. Oh, I got an old tube of this ultra black. Maybe the stuff ain't no good here. I gotta squeeze some out and see if I can. Yeah, she's gonna be all right, I guess. It isn't gonna take much long here. This is not gonna be pretty because I gotta keep putting it on my finger because it's so stiff. I'll bring you back in a minute. Yeah. Make sure you put your numbers up. If no other reason, if you need to order parts, you don't need to use a mirror. Look at that, all closed up. And hopefully, for the last time. Oh yeah, get a little bit of squish out, that's what we want. I'm just gonna put this up with my fingers for now, so that it doesn't squish all of the stuff out. Then I'll come down later and tighten it. And we can take a little bit of this high heat here. Oh, look at that, still good. I'm gonna just put a little bit of this on this. This high heat red silicone you can put right on the header manifolds of a pro stock race car and it will hold up just fine, sitting right there on something against, you know, anybody that's ever seen racing knows that stuff runs cherry red. And seen it time after time, done it, you know, put it on myself. It works. So I know this will handle this heat. Just a dab or two. Put her in. We'll see here what we can do. Well, let's see, Allen wrench right there, 1/4 inch Allen wrench. Beautiful. Come on. Oh, what did I do with my socket? Right there. Way to cheat there if you need a little extra leverage. Just turn your Allen wrench the other way, put your socket onto it. So that's all there is for that. Now we'll clean up our silicone mess. Let's see if we can get this little rubber O-ring in here where it belongs. Could be a trick. Oh, come on. That should be so easy. Wow, I think I got it. Come on, there we go. I'm going to take the light here and peek once I get the top up. Make sure that that's, yep, still in there where it belongs. You can just barely see down by it, but you can see it. Okay, now we put this, get this spark plug wire out here where it belongs, which is right there. Get this piece of tin in where it belongs. There we go. Now, there's 2 bolts here, 2 in the back. The little tiny screw goes in by the air cleaner here. And I'm going to tighten these up once I get this picked up on the back. I don't know if you can see how that moves. So I'm not going to tighten these intakes up until I get this top bonnet all on. And anyway, I'll bring it back in a minute. One more quick thing. The 2 short ones, they go in the front. Long ones go in the back. And that little tiny screw right there goes right in that hole right there. And like I say, I'm going to get this all bolted on, then I'll pick this up with that little tiny screw, and then I'll tighten these 2 screws last. And that way this will all be lined up and there won't be pressure on this. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll bring you back and we'll see if she'll run. Well, that's the old plug. It's pretty well smoked. RC12YC, RC12YC. These come out of a Generac. They run them a year and change them. There's nothing wrong with them. So, I'm going to get that dandy started, and we're going to run that. It's a used plug, but I don't see any reason to ever throw it away. Beautiful. Let's see if she'll run. We'll give her a try here. Now let's see. Choke. Say she was a success. So anyway, that's it. Hope that might help somebody, and I might have left some little step out, but I hope not. Anyway, take care everybody, and we'll see you on the next one.